like where we're at, dude, and we're recording, so you're on the fucking hotspot. Let's go.
On the hot spot.
You're on the hotspot. Welcome, Joel. I appreciate you coming by, brother.
Live. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, dude. Long time listener, first time guest. How about it?
How about it? We're here.
I think we're gonna do a little YouTube with this one too. So, excuse me.
That's the plan.
Yeah, that's the plan. I like the hat. You're totally doing it with the headphones. I told you you're coming for co-host. Um, you're coming down to like co-host area, like you're flirting with it. So
Yeah.
I like it, dude.
Get me in the studio in Montana.
That's right. So y'all just moved, huh? Let's catch up for a
We
minute before
did.
we dive into this. Good.
Yeah, we did. We got out of our first house and into our second house where we upsized, I guess, about 500-600 square feet. Um, cool little neighborhood. Just over here to my right, actually, we've got an amphitheater that they do like some farmers markets. They do there's a concert series once a month. We actually did one last night. Um, they have some local bands or whoever to come through here and play and stuff like that. Couple food trucks. There's a brewery that has a little beer garden truck set up, and they'll sling some beer off of it at you. And we got a brewery right down the street here. We got Japanese spot, Mexican spot, liquor store.
Gun store, liquor store, gun store, liquor
I
store.
don't even need to leave. I don't even need to leave.
Where's that? It's Cedar. What is it?
Pleasant View. It's
Pleasant.
it's
Okay.
about 20 miles north of Nashville. So got out of actual Nashville and on the outskirts a little bit. Sidewalks, good area to run. Back, you've been to my house back in the old neighborhood. Couldn't really run much without getting hit by a car. So
Yeah.
out here we've got a little bit of hills. Not I wouldn't call them hills for back where you're running right now, but we got some hills, sidewalks. Got a couple dog parks in the neighborhood. Got a playground for the baby, and I'm excited to. Allegedly, it's about a 2 mile loop around the place, so we'll test her out next week.
Good. Good. Are they gonna let you keep your car? Or are you not
Yeah,
gonna tell them
yeah.
about it?
Get to have
Okay.
a take-home car now, out of
Okay.
county. So my form got approved actually like Thursday last week, and I'm just waiting to hitchhike into town and find a ride in so I can drive it back out without having to play duck duck goose with a bunch of cars.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Was it always a rule that you weren't allowed to, like, if you lived out of county, but some dudes would
Yeah.
just finesse it
Yep.
anyways?
Yep.
Okay.
One person probably ruined it for everybody, but yeah, that's new as of I think last year. Last year we just got them. Maybe last summer, if I'm correct. But you got to live as long as you are within 35 miles from a facility, from a metro facility, you can take it home.
Word. Word. And you're cool
Yeah,
with the cop. You're cool with the cop shit on here, right?
yeah.
Okay. I know
It's
your
nice though.
Instagram.
I'm only 20.5 miles, so
That ain't bad at all. Hop, skip,
we
and a
out
jump.
here.
Hell
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Real quick for you guys listening, you guys probably don't know who Joel is. Joel's a good friend of mine. We went to the police academy. When did we start? 17 or 18?
18, May of
Eight,
18,
May
and
1st of 18, right?
graduated in October of 18. Yeah.
Yep. So that's how Joel and I met. We ended up once we graduated, we ended up working. We worked in South together. Was that it?
Oh yeah. We did a
Yeah.
sentence in South is what we
Y-
did.
No doubt. Yeah. So we worked South Nashville together for a couple years, or maybe it was just a
Yep.
year. It felt like a fucking eternity.
Yeah, it
Um,
was it was a fucking time.
Yes, it was. And then Joel still works for the department there in Nashville. So
Yep.
that's a
Tyler
quick
was actually
little.
one of our body worn camera testers, and he liked to show up on calls and forget to tell you he was recording. So
Oh, was that me?
that was always exciting to try to try to remember what you just said and
Yeah. Well,
wonder.
these fuckers here used to get me because I would forget to turn it on. They used to
Yeah,
try to get me
yeah,
in trouble. It's like
yeah,
it's a fucking welfare check. Why do I gotta turn my camera on? Ain't
yeah,
no one here.
yeah. There's some silly policies with that kind of stuff, but
Do you always want to be a cop? I don't know if I've ever asked you this before.
uh, I don't know about that. So obviously, as you know, pretty sure the listeners don't, but my dad retired from the department in 2015, and after my dad retired, I started a week later as a civilian employee. With that, it was mainly paperwork oriented, administrative tasks, stuff like that. Um, God, you make those look good. Um,
I quit
with
dipping.
Yeah, I know, but you're seems appetizing. Watch out,
They
you better
already.
get a sponsorship.
I'm
Um,
hoping so.
but we started after that. I kind of dove right into the records division, which, like I said, a bunch of administrative stuff, things of that nature. Um, went went for a different position about 6 months later, I'd say, to a property guard position, which is kind of just like you essentially guard metro facilities. It's kind of silly to have a civilian employee guarding a facility with a bunch of police officers. I never could make sense of that, but I'm not here to make sense of it. Um, so with that, as they say, if it makes sense, it's not for the government, right? So
100%.
we we did that for about a year. It was a little bit of a pay raise at the time, and a little little more responsibility, a little more leniency, a little more freedom. So I did that, and then after that, I actually got a really sweet gig in the youth services division where I was doing administrative paperwork stuff for actually the supervisor I work for now as an officer. So that was pretty cool. We have a little bit of a history, stuff like that. Um, with that, I actually went to lunch one day and came back, and one of my buddies had submitted my application for me. So that was uh,
I
that was
did
pretty
not know
cool. I
that.
kept talking. I was doing a lot of talking about it, and not a lot of doing it at the time.
Mm,
I was about 260 pounds. Um, not cool, not tight. And
not tight.
with that, I decided that I was more worried about the physical fitness portion of the academy rather than studying law and all stuff like that. I had a lot of buddies who had made it through at the time, and that was I'm not gonna say it's easy now because I don't know, but that was certainly back when it was challenging to get through things like that. It was tough. Um, not coming from a military background or anything like that. It was, you and I both. It was tough to kind of get used to it, especially if you weren't in, tip top condition. And it's even like they said, even if you are in shape, the way they break you mentally and kind of get you set up in that way is, they'll if you're in top shape, they'll push you one past top shape
Hmm.
just to kind of see what your worth is. So with that, lost a lot of weight. Started getting on the treadmill at Gold's Gym back in Bellevue, where I used to live during the academy and prior to the academy. And man, I remember it was so cool getting in there and running a 14-minute mile, and it was cool just knowing I had completed it. I started out I'd have to walk for a minute and jog for 30 seconds, and that it was tough as hell. It beat the fuck out of me doing that, but we would get it done. And then a lot of sitting in the sauna and trying to relax after working out, things of that nature. A lot of meal prepping, but not really knowing what to actually do. Um, More of a meat is lean, or lean meat and protein based, and try to just slouch on the carbs a little bit until it wasn't it worked for the time being, but it wasn't what I really needed in game. So with that, we did that. Like I said, came back from lunch. My buddy had um, well, I should say, came back from lunch, and right before I was about to fire up Blue Bloods again and try to knock down another season um,
Is
at
that a
work.
sh- is that a show?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could typically get my work done at about 30 to 45 minutes.
So you were Hang on, because I know where you're going. I'm gonna try to paint a picture for everybody because there's a lesson to be learned with your story. So, long story short, your buddy ends up applying to the department for you because
Yeah,
you're just
essentially, yeah. I did talked about it a lot, and I had the application pre-filled. I had it. I mean, I had it done, man. I had everything filled out. You remember how strenuous the application was? I mean, they even want
right,
crazy shit like your ex-girlfriends and stuff like
right,
that. So I had it pre-filled out. It was more of a how would you say? It was almost more of like a dream if you had it right.
yeah,
I knew I wasn't ready. Um, to know, you're never ready, right? I mean, that's for anything. You're never really ready. You just kind of find stuff that is, well, I guess that's kind of part of where I'm at now. But you kind of find stuff that pushes you a little bit, and then you're not ready for it, but you just say fuck it and do it, and then you realize that you really were ready, or you're close enough that you're ready, and you just figure out how to suffer through it or get it done. So that's correct. I came back from lunch. I was about to fire up probably Blue Bloods season 8 or something cool like that, and I open up my computer and there's a thing that says, thank you for your interest, blah 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 blah. And since I was already working for the department, I knew it was going to be a quick thing, man. Like, a lot of people move from out of state, stuff like that.
just
I've
call it
obviously,
just call it what it is. You were a shoe-in. Your dad just
yeah,
retired. You already
yep,
worked for the
yep. I had
department as
worked
a
there
civilian.
for 3 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was going to be quick. It wasn't going to be a 6 month background and
yeah,
all this shit. So crazy enough, I don't want to jump ahead on the pod, but with that, man, I got a call. I think what do we start May 1st? I think I
yep.
got a call like April 28th or something, and they said, "Hey, I just want to let you know we've
See
emailed
you
you a
Monday.
packet over. We'll see you Monday." And I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I have not given a 2 weeks notice, and you buy time, right? Stall, because that's what you do when you're uncomfortable. You stall." So um, that's what I did, man. And HR emailed me back. Just so you know, we have notified your supervisor already. And well, we're fucking in it, right? So just zip, zip, shave off the hair, and see you Monday. So a funny story that I'll tell real quick was the supervisor I worked for at the time, David Schlesinger. He he was my supervisor at the time as a civilian employee, and he was working the Predators games at Bridgestone Arena. He was working kind of off duty for Bridgestone Arena, um, and so was one of our training instructors, Matt Evans. So with that, I showed up to my final weekend of freedom, as you would call it. Comfort is probably a better word. Showed up to my final weekend of comfort, and next thing you know, I go up to holler at him against my better judgment real quick, and he said, "Hey, I got somebody I want you to meet while you're down here." And so there's like 6'2", 6'3", Papa Matt, who
A big
luckily
boy.
he's a big guy.
Yeah.
Luckily, who has kind of become one of my best friends after the academy. But he's he was me and Tyler's training instructor. I'm sure he'll tell you a story about mispronouncing his name. Um, but
Yeah,
with
that's a
that, I
good
got
one.
to meet Matt Evans an extra 2 days early, which was a real fucking charm.
Was
Glad
he
I had the
tight with you?
opportunity.
Was he cool with you
No,
at the
no,
game,
no,
or did he already
no,
know what the deal was come Monday?
no. He knew what time it was, and it was kind of a
Didn't you
it's
like go
kind
up
of
to him
a
with a beer in your hand and shit?
I don't think I was drinking. Dude, I was too dialed. I mean, I was too just, you know how it is. But no, I didn't have a choice but to meet him. Thank God.
What do you
And
say?
and he just kind of gave me a little head bow and said, "See you Monday."
Yeah,
So
sure
that
did.
was and there we were off to a fucking start. So
Well, let's
I
let's 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 try this, okay? So, I
yeah.
want to touch on something that you said earlier that you're never really ready. Like it's never the right time. I firmly believe that as well in a lot of things in life. So, we get to the academy, and me not knowing anybody, it was very fucking clear to me that you were not ready physically. What was that
Yeah, there's a
process
few of
like for
us.
you?
I was one of them.
Yes, I wanted to rip your head off, but we'll continue. What was that? What was that like
I
for
was
you?
so I will say I was much more ready than I was 4 months prior, 2 months prior, which was
Mm-hmm.
fucking crazy. Because once I started filling out the application, that's when I started, getting dialed in. Um, I really do wish that I could just pull up a picture real quick if I'm able to. I don't know if I'm able
Yeah.
to find one in a quick manner, but I know I have a picture. I keep it on my phone, pretty much just to be like, hey, what was I thinking at this point in time, thinking that this career choice would ever be a good idea for me, looking like this, and honestly feeling like this too. Um, but yeah, so like you were saying, I definitely was not as ready as I could have been, which was kind of a bummer because I knew fully what to expect. I mean, I had everything in order that I mean, I should have fully known what to expect. I mean, I had friends, I had, connections of people that I knew that there's no reason I should have been that unprepared, and it was kind of one of those, almost kind of one of those measures of just kind of, hey, what should I do to get ready? Oh, well, why don't you try running a few miles? And yeah, okay, I'll try that. And so it was more of a go to a greenway or something like that. And when I would get there, it was, I mean, it was a lot. It was a hell of a lot of walk run, which
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of grown a new appreciation for, since I've had the had the bright idea that I haven't even ran a marathon yet, but I'm already looking into what ultras look interesting to me, um, and talking to all these guys that run the ultras. I mean, it's a person's misconception is that when you run an ultra marathon for numerous hours, that the whole thing is I started at 7 a.m. and I didn't stop running till 7 a.m. the next day, and that's simply not the case. There's all kinds of terrain. There's all you know how it is. I'm sure you could better explain that, but there's all kinds of terrain, and I mean, just recently I saw something on Instagram for the past 2 days where one of the guys that I hired as a coach, kind of a running coach, was I guess pacing somebody through the Smoky Mountains, on a FKT that she was doing, and during that she almost fell in the water trying to cross over a log that was down across. It was literally part of the fucking trail. How insane is that? So when you see somebody finish an ultra,
Mm-hmm.
typically they're averaging, I don't know, 14, I don't know, 13 to 20 minutes, anywhere in that range per mile. But then you look at the elevation and you're just like, well, that's insane. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was running predominantly flats, trying to prepare for the academy, and like you said, I was not ready. My primary focus in the academy was not to be a run drop, never fall out of a run, and I think I fell out of a run a week. It's
Yeah.
definitely
But
hostile.
as yeah, so as we're going through this, we're getting smoked, I don't know, a dozen times a day. It's May in Nashville, so it's pretty freaking warm. So I mean, that
Suits,
makes for long
suits.
days.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, we're wearing actual like dress suits for how long do we do
With
that? A
dress
month? I
shoes
don't
for a
know.
while.
Yeah. Anyways, we're kind of getting our butts kicked, and the people that are a little bit better off physically are doing a little bit better than the ones who obviously aren't. Hey Joel, but something that I really respected is that over the first few days, I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, there's no way he's gonna make it. Like, he might be the smartest kid in the class, but like, he's smoking all of us. Like, we're about to. We still good?
We're
Lost you.
good. No, we're good.
Oh, okay. I just lost your video. It's all good. It happens. Um, so can you see me?
I could see you.
Okay, I can't see you. Anyways,
Mine's
um,
showing up. I don't know
so
why it's not.
what was? It's all good. We'll just work through it. It'll probably pop back up. Anyways, what was really cool is that I'm watching a guy working his butt off, struggling, but no one said it was going to be easy. But then you and I began to form a friendship, and then you'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing after the academy?" And I'd be like, "I'm going to the gym." You're like, "What do you mean you're going to the gym? We just got smoked all day." And I was like, "I mean, yeah, for me, like it's a workout, but like I still want to give a little bit more. Like I still have my own routine that I need to do." And then you're like, well, the hell with that. I want to come. And then you and I started going to Gold's Gym almost every day. There you are. You're back. Almost every day after the academy. And you were putting extra work in, which in turn
Not tight.
helped
Not
you.
tight.
No, it's never fun to put extra work in, but sometimes it's required, right? Like
100%.
you don't want to be dragging ass all week in the academy, not to mention you have to study for law exams. Like you want your fitness to be to a point where you're not getting
Shine your
killed,
boots.
and that doesn't happen overnight. You have to put in extra work, especially if you're a little bit behind the eight ball coming in. Can you touch on that of being like, fuck, I am behind. I need to catch up. I need to put in extra work. Was that a conversation that you had with yourself, or was it with me, or like your
Yeah,
parent?
so
Who'd you talk to be like, man, I need to do this?
at the time, when I was in the academy, and shortly thereafter, for about a year and a couple months, give or take. But I was previously married before the girl I'm married to now. Um, and with that, I remember on the second day, because Tyler, if you remember, our first day was really admin based. It was
Yeah,
getting
day zero, right?
yeah, day zero was getting water bottles, squared away, and man, I should have brought the water bottle on the podcast. I was literally drinking out of it during the move the other day. I could have really done it. But anyways, it's a Nalgene bottle, very similar to this, blue in color, and it has the department logo on it. And if you lost that thing, you were
For
fucked.
disclaimer, that might as well be your gun.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
fucked. So
yeah. You
so
better
with
hold on to your
that,
bottle.
a lot of admin tasks, stuff like that. Get everything squared away. With that, day zero was, I mean, it was balls to the wall from the moment we came in. I mean, we were stuck outside. The door was locked. We were getting fucked up as soon as we walked in the building. Um, Matt was not tight at that time. He had this fucking hat on, and if they the drill instructor hats, and if you saw that, you knew you were in for a bad time, especially if you were previously out of shape. So with that, like Tyler said, it was playing a bunch of catch up. I am a firm believer in, if you want to be good at something, then you surround yourself with people that are better at it. um because with that being said, it's never tight to be top of the pack in everything that you do. Whereas in most people might think that's cool. You're not really learning anything. You can always learn stuff from people who are under you in that specific topic, but I think that if you constantly get after it with people that are better than you in certain topics and things of that nature, that you're going to be better off. So with that, we had um, a buddy that came out of special forces a couple years prior, that we hung out with, and Tyler was, he was real physically fit at that time. He actually wasn't even into running yet. He could run, but he wasn't like a runner yet. Um, but anyways, we would spend most of our lunch breaks. I took over Tyler's style of kind of took over his style of what he would eat for lunch, per se, because it was a lot of ground meat, rice, maybe a little bit of cheese sprinkled in, stuff like that. And he had this real cool habit of just leaving Tupperware in his fucking truck for like weeks at a time. So that was always that was always good. But we would mainly just go sit at Walgreens parking lot on Clarksville Pike, and eat lunch, and then that would give us, what do we have, an hour for lunch, give or take, most days. So that would give us about 4.5 minutes to eat, about 10 minutes of drive time each way just to be safe. Um, about 30 seconds to rest, and then the other time was spent just taking a dip because you needed to relax the stress, and you surely couldn't get it in at the academy. So um,
It turned in
with
how
that,
fast can you eat your lunch so you can throw a dip of Copenhagen in?
yeah, and then you might have to calculate in time to sit down after that. So you have to get back
Right.
to the academy and stuff like that. Tyler became pretty good at sneaking fucking peanut butter sandwiches or something in during classroom portions, and that was a big no. So he
No.
got into sneaking that in, and it sucked being fat and being out of shape, man, because um, dude, it sucked because if he gets smoked, it's like, oh look, it's more exercise. If I get smoked, I'm like, oh look, it's cardiac arrest. Bring out the defibrillator. So with that, it's just like trying to figure it all out and make it all work, dude. It was fucking exhausting, but we did it. We graduated. We made it fun. Everybody said that looking back on it, it would suck, but it definitely sucked. I mean, like he was saying, being behind. I was on remedial training during every break, so while the studs of the class, got to go enjoy their breaks and stuff like that, I had to go. Actually, now that I think about it, I wasn't on remedial for running. I was on remedial. I started out on remedial for running, push-ups, and sit-ups, and I ended the academy passing all my PT stuff within the required aspects of it. But I think after the first month or so, I was off the remedial for running, and then I remained on it for push-ups because my push-ups weren't low enough. So with that, we got it done and we graduated. And looking back on it, it was a good time. It sucked at the time, but it was a good time.
I had a great time. Yeah, looking back at it, I had a great time. It sounds like you need to go to work. They might need you in the background, I hear.
No, that's the fire department. We know what they
Oh,
do.
should have been one of those.
Yeah, it really messed up somewhere, but no, it's good. I will say the academy, if it taught me anything, was that your body is much more capable than you think it is. So
Facts.
that's kind of sometimes I still have trouble remembering that in my day to day stuff I do, but with that, past that, you can do it.
You can. So let's transition here because this brings me to my kind of main topic where we're at today. But we'll kind of rewind. So this was about 5 years ago that we're talking about all this. So over the past, let's call it, 3 to 4 years, Joel, obviously I moved away, but Joel and I have stayed in contact and we talk all the time. And Joel is constantly asking me about training, different workouts and, different runs that I'm doing and this, that, and the other. And over the past few years, I kind of have this ongoing, and you don't even know this, but it's not a joke, but this ongoing like, oh, there's Joel. He'll get really into something. So he'll be like, yeah, I'm going to start running. I'll be like, all right, cool. And Joel, he'll run his butt off for 1 to 3 months, and then I won't hear from him. And then I'll talk to
Stop
Joel a
seeing
couple
the
months
Garmin.
after that. Yeah, I won't see his Garmin updates anymore. So he'll be on the train, and then he'll hop off. Same thing with eating. He'll be tracking his food, and then he'll hop off, or he'll be going to the gym, consistently 2, 3 months at a time,
Yep.
4 months at a time, but then he'll hop off. So you've had a really, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but you've had a really difficult time up until recently making the
Yeah.
fitness and the eating and all of that kind of a lifestyle choice, right? Like this is just what
Right.
you do every
Yep.
day, you know, no matter what. And granted,
Yeah.
you've gone through some life things. You had a baby, you got remarried, things like that. Life comes at you. So talk to me a little bit about those struggles, and then we're going to transition into. I mean, in my opinion, you're over the hump, brother. Like you're really living this life
Yeah.
now. So I
I,
know a lot
I
of
hope
people are
so.
in your shoes. And tell me about that. Like, why couldn't you stick to the plan when you knew what you needed to be doing? What was holding you back?
Right. So uh, I've pretty much since getting out of the academy, I got down to 190. Like I said, I was like my heaviest I think I've ever been was like 265. That is code word for fucking really fat.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, because I'm not a tall guy either. I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day, whatever. So with that being said, um, I had to lose this weight for the academy. I got down to probably about 215, 220 starting the academy, if I'm correct. Lost a bunch of weight in the academy. Got down to 190, which was my smallest. Smallest that I've been. Dude, I don't know when. I mean, I remember being big in eighth grade. I mean, sixth grade. So um, with that, now I get measured for everything in the academy at 190, 195, fluctuation, stuff like that. Um, I stuck with it pretty good, I'd say, for the first year out of the academy, specifically our rookie rotations of our 6 months where we rode with an FTO. Because with that, I would go to Clean Eats. I would buy the the prepackaged meals that you just have to throw in the microwave for 30 seconds or so. Um, and with that, I would heat that up. I try to keep my snacks pretty moderate in portion sizes, stuff like that. And I was on midnights, then I went to days, then I went to midnights, and that was my rotation. So anybody who's worked midnights can tell you it's a little harder to keep a regiment on midnights, but quite frankly, I honestly I think that's when I do the best because there's not a lot of bullshit open to go run in and get food. Anyways, we'll we'll keep going, but with that, exercising until you really figure out what you're doing, which I still have no idea what I'm doing. I hired fucking Justin Hamilton, Ultra Dad on Instagram, and then I hired Geiger for through Nock Performance with all that. So with that being said, I still have no idea what I'm doing with that. So that's why I get other people to tell me what to do, and I just do it, and it's really easy. With that, I'm now up to well, so I end up getting up to about 230 again, probably when we work together on South. Give or take, it's never fun having to go back in and buy new uniform shirts, stuff like that. Had a baby in 2021, the end of 2021. I didn't have it, my wife had it, but um, with that, I decided that it was probably time to do a little bit better. And I also liked, like he said, I went through these spurts where I would get real motivated. I accidentally listened to too much David Goggins and want to go do these fucking stupid runs, like running, 5 to 7 miles a day, whatever. Well, what what I'm not telling you is that when I would do these 5 to 7 mile runs a day, it looked good on Strava, it looked good on Garmin Connect, things of that nature, but my cadence was averaging 120 to 130, which is essentially a fast walk. So um, with that, I was still moving my body and jogging, but that was that. It was getting to the point where I was getting obsessive about it, and I even got a pretty wicked little like Achilles injury at some point where I remember when we were working together in South. Sometimes I would call people on the phone to take the reports because we were allowed to do that because of COVID. But I mean, dude, there was points when you rolled up on something, I had to make it look like I was just trying to run their info really quick. While I was just conveniently still in my car because it hurt so bad I couldn't fucking get out. I wasn't taking stuff seriously. I wasn't stretching. I wasn't doing the stuff that you got to do now. So with that, got back up. When I started running obsessively like that every day, I mean, I wasn't treating my body right. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't getting proper nutrition at all. Proper nutrition didn't start until March of this year. So,
Yeah.
so with that being said, I've now got to the point where I'm following plans by people that tell me what to do, and you know, I can pay some money and work a couple extra jobs if I want to, take a load off the bank account and just pay someone to tell me what to do. And now, as of right now, I'm around 195 again, and I can actually fit back into my uniforms. We wear a whole different style uniform now, so it doesn't really matter. But actually, was on an interview panel last week for field training officers who had put in for the position, and I was actually able to wear a Class A shirt from when I was a long sleeve shirt. For those of you who don't know, from when I graduated the academy. So I had to go get some stripes put on it, and I was actually able to fit in that shirt that I wore in the academy because I've gotten down that much. I assume we're going to talk about running later ish.
Yeah, yeah, we will. So,
Yeah,
do you think that would you classify it as you had a hard time kind of holding yourself accountable?
yeah,
Like
running's
where when
uncomfortable.
you have to make when you, yeah.
Yeah, so running's uncomfortable. Fitness in general is uncomfortable. Anybody can go sit down on a weight bench and throw some weight on there and do a bench press. I mean, whether you're doing, 250, 235, whatever, or, 135, or even just benching the bar. I mean, it doesn't, I'm not trying to discredit the strong guys that can do a lot of, sets of, high reps, stuff like that, big weight. But, with me, I'm not even to that point yet. I mean, I do primarily body weight, dumbbell bands, um, kind of stuff like that. Almost more of like a CrossFit style, I guess you would say. I mean, I don't know. You write the workouts, so you'd probably be better to tell. But I'm still kind of focused on. I'm still kind of focused on that. My main focus right now is running, and that light bulb kind of caught me when. Um, so I don't remember what you were training for, but we would run at Ellington Ag Center. And it was real hilly, and we got to go do some pretty cool like, little trail stuff. And then I would get out to Edwin and Percy Warner and stuff like that, and go run the trails there. And like I said, slow, but I'm still getting it done, and still, I'm not very fast, but I've definitely gotten faster than where I was at. Which is just cool. It's the feeling of accomplishment, and you do it for a few months and fall off. Do it for a few months and fall off. It's because you're not really seeing results. But when you actually get everything in sync with one another and actually start seeing results, like I've been getting body scans done at our police academy, which is fortunate enough has an Acunix machine to take measurements and stuff like that. It's really cool to see your skeletal muscle mass go up and your percentage body fat go down. So seeing stuff like that, lets you know that when I may wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and not really notice any difference. I still have a little bit of a stomach and love handles and shit like that, but other people notice it and they're like, wow, you look good. You're either really sick or you look good. But stuff like that. There's all the people that you see a lot can typically tell. And then with that, you can tell when you go get on the machine and actually get your numbers and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to regain your motivation, I guess you'd say, when you realize that you're doing everything right. And I certainly couldn't do that if I didn't have um, our nutrition girl and fitness girl Echo, who's out at the academy, who's a civilian just assigned to help people with workout plans, meal plans, stuff like that. And it's 100% free through our department, which is awesome because she's got me squared away on a certain macro set that I typically follow. This week has been impossible to follow anything. I have managed to keep getting my runs in. However, nutrition has been completely out the window this week because we're literally still unpacking boxes. I mean, as of maybe last night at around 10 o'clock, I can officially now heat something up in the microwave if I want. So, with that, when you're talking about meal prepping, because, being prepared is probably the most important part of all of this. You have to make sure you set enough time aside for your workouts. You got to make sure that you start prioritizing your workouts over other stuff that you may rather do. I can look at it right here. There's a Mexican restaurant. I can see it from right here at this desk I'm sitting at. And, I would love to go. My parents took the baby today. I'd love to go up there and get a margarita and stumble back home and put more shit away because that would be pretty fun. But, at the end of the day, like when you actually start when you actually look at a macro plan and start tracking shit down with numbers, it's dude, it's insane. I mean, I made the choice between this iced coffee that my wife has in the refrigerator and an Alani this morning, because I looked at the back of the iced coffee thing just out of curiosity, and an 8 ounce pour of it was 150 calories with 24 grams of carbs and fucking coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think about
Mm-hmm.
all the shit you drink that is full of it's full of bullshit, right? And dude, it
Mm-hmm.
tastes delicious and it's not even that sugary. But you don't think about all this shit you're eating or drinking. It's almost like you think drinks don't count, and that's fucking far from the truth. I mean, I was
Yeah.
drinking a Dunkin' iced coffee every day when I came back to North Precinct. I was drinking a Dunkin' iced coffee, every single fucking day. And then you look, and that was without sweeteners and shit in it. And then there was a couple creams and some Splenda and stuff like that. And you still look at the stats, and it's like, dude, what's the deal? And now, I mean, I focus on. I know I saw you had some Ghost, Ghost, Alani, stuff like that. Did Celsius that's zero sugar. This has 3 grams of carbs in it. So you really start focusing, what your what your goals are. One of the biggest struggles I've had recently is, I guess, what this girl Echo at our academy called calorie sneaking. And calorie sneaking is
Mm.
where I get home and my daughter hands me a handful of animal crackers, and I've just had a long day at work and I'm starving or bored, I'm not sure, and I shove them all in my mouth and eat them because she thinks it's funny to give me food at 2 years old, and I think it's very funny to eat them because it fucking tastes good and gives me a little boost before I go on a run or something like that. But I mean, 11 animal crackers, not to bore you, but that's like another 150 fucking calories. And when you're only allotted 1,700 calories a day because you're trying to cut weight and have goals and shit, I mean, it makes a big difference. I literally pre-plug in all my food I eat the night before, um, into my I think it's called Fit Genie. I plug it all in the night before just so I can make sure that the next day I know what I have room for and what I don't have room for. And the exception to that is when I've now recently started doing some longer runs, I have talked myself into believing it's believable to eat a handful or two handfuls or sometimes three handfuls of Sour Patch Kids after I'm done because it really makes me feel better. Comfort.
Exactly. Comfort. I get it. So here, would you agree with me if I told you like years ago, Joel would get this idea and he'd be mad motivated, being like, hell yeah, I'm gonna start running, or yeah, I'm gonna start eating better, or yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym more often. And then you get on this kick and you're like motivated as hell and you're doing it every day. And then maybe like an injury pops up or a long day, and seeing that you're not being the only person that's holding you accountable is Joel. Well,
Correct.
nobody
Why the
else,
tables have
the
turned.
majority, yes, the majority of people on here don't know who you are, but I do.
Right.
And I know you, after a long day, you're like, fuck it, dude. We'll get them tomorrow. We're good here.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Not anymore.
Okay. So that has clean gone out the window because now Joel wants to run a marathon. For some odd reason, he'd probably been hanging out with me too often, but he wants to run a marathon. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when Joel couldn't run a fucking mile without looking
Could,
like he's fixing to die.
couldn't run a lap.
Correct. So now, opposed to Joel being like, "All right, let's get back on this train and let's just start running again." And Joel said, "The hell with that." Contacted me. I hooked him up with my running coach, Justin Hamilton, with Vertex Ultra Coaching, and now you're being held accountable by not only yourself because you still have a high standard for yourself because you know what you want to accomplish, but now you're investing your own money and you're paying for a service via somebody who is far more experienced than you. Like this is their thing, right? Like Justin's a runner. This is what he does.
Correct.
He coaches guys
Correct.
to run
Correct.
far and to run very long. So now not only is Joel investing his own money, he's investing his time, but now no matter how you want to look at it, it's kind of being held over his head that if he doesn't go get his run in, Justin's going to call or text him being like, "Hey, is everything okay?" What's going on? Now you're being held accountable by an outside force. You're a reflection of Justin,
Right.
your
Right.
coach. So
And,
now you don't. Now you're like, I can't dip out. Like, as
no.
bad as I want to, I'm going to get my ass reamed by my coach. Plus, I'm spending my own freaking money. So, would you say that investing in that coaching has really helped you stay on this track? Because, I mean, dude, you are so committed to training. Like, it's very cool to see.
Yeah. So like you said with that, yeah, I always had an interest in just like that's kind of one of my things is when I do become interested in something, I become interested in it. I mean, I put time and effort and look at shit on my own time and stuff like that. I was actually just I was looking earlier when I woke up, not to get off topic, but Jill Dennis, who I think was it, did she come in third this year on Mid State? Uh, Second, third,
Yep, third
third,
place.
third. Came in third.
Yep.
Exceptional runner and stud for a female runner, man. I mean, she's insane. But I've actually caught her out a couple times while I was at work, and she's been running around the area that I work in. But with that, I saw that Jill was running. I think it was Eastern States, and this past weekend. And so she had posted a link last week, and I even woke up this morning and I was like, let's see where Jill's at. So I refreshed that, but it's cool to see. I know when Eric ran Crazy Mountain 100 and Tyler went to pace him for a little bit and stuff like that, I was constantly checking. I mean, it's you find these running events and you become so involved and so interested with it. You just want to watch and watch and watch. So with that, Tyler running mid-state was a very big motivation for me. That's where I first saw Justin. It was the year that Justin ran mid-state, and it was kind of who is this guy and why is he showing up so motivated? And then he ended up, shocking everybody and beating course records up until this past year, when Eric beat it. But with that, I become very interested in that kind of stuff. So I reached out to Justin and said, "Hey, I don't know why I want to do this, but I have this weird involvement to want to do this marathon." And then it wasn't too soon after that, you actually said, "Hey, I want to come do the marathon with you." And I was like, "That's fucking sick." So the very first thing I did, got on my phone. Still got it right here. This is a very easy reminder right here, but I got on my phone, and when I did, I went ahead and I bought my race ticket for this marathon. That way, I knew that when Tyler said, "Hey, I'm taking my time to fly into town, run this with you at your pace," because he's a much faster runner than me. Um, just so we can chill and do a marathon together. I was like, all right, that's wild. I had a friend that passed away in December. It was actually on my birthday last year. It was December 26th. He passed away from brain cancer. He was 31 years old. And he was a big runner. He lived in the mountains in California, Southern California, and he was kind of who sparked my initial interest in running. He was a running coach. He was a runner in high school. He ran cross country. He was fast and he could go for a while. He wasn't like ultra, on ultra stuff like that, but I mean, he could run a run a half marathon at a 7-minute pace, and I mean stuff like that. And then I started following along. What's your buddy's name? Bryce, that crazy dude on Strava who used to run super fast and super far. I think he was from Michigan, up
Oh,
where you
Bryce
were around,
Bradley. Yeah, he can
Bryce
clip.
Bradley. So I would see
Yep.
his runs and then stuff like that, and then I got interested, like I said, after mid state for sure. And then when I decided that when my buddy Andrew passed away, I was like, man, it sure would be cool. I know he'd be proud of me way up above if I could knock down a marathon, because he was one of those people that would always give me insight on running. He was a free coach, if you will, and he would say, "Hey, you should do this." He loved being organized and making plans and putting together spreadsheets and shit like that. So Andrew would always be there to see my falling off, like Tyler was talking about earlier. And when I would fall off of stuff, rather than Tyler saying, "Hey, dude, what the fuck," Andrew was more of a, "Yeah, dude, I understand you got an injury. You need to make sure you nurse it and stuff like that, take care of it, stuff like that." And I'm not saying to run through injuries, but run through injuries. Um, and so anyways, with that being said, now I'm, like I said, I hired Justin, and um, Justin Justin got me locked in and on the Vertex team. And I'm not the fastest Vertex athlete that's out there on his team, but I'm definitely committed. He uses Training Peaks to upload my workouts, and he actually I told him the other night, I said, hey man, I'm moving, and my buddy who was wrongfully convicted of murder, or not convicted, charged with murder, had his trial last week and luckily got an acquittal. So I've been dealing with bouncing back and forth between court all week, moving, hiring movers, bringing movers in, and I've still managed. I think the only choice I had was to get on the treadmill the other night at, I think, 10:30 at night, uh, 9:30 at night. I got on the treadmill, put a 4 or 5 airhead, little miniature airheads by me, and mixed some tailwind up in a bottle, and not really that crazy needed for an indoor run, but the room I was running in definitely wasn't cool, and I had to go for 10 miles, which was about 2 hours for me, because I can hold steady on the treadmill at about a 12 minute pace, and I think I finished that run. 10 miles is my longest run I've ever done to date, and I think I averaged like a 12:23 pace, which I was expecting to hit. Probably my goal was to keep it under like a 13:15 pace, which like I said still isn't fast, but Justin's unspoken rule for me is if I am running on the treadmill, I have to be at a 1% incline. And though 1% doesn't seem very much, it's fucking taxing when you're running miles and miles and miles. So with that, I remember going through a point where I wasn't doing any other working out at all. I was simply running. That was it. And I was doing 2 to 3 miles a day, and I was saying, I'm a runner. I'm a runner. I do 2 or 3 miles a day, and I'm a runner. I do treadmill, flat, no incline, 2 to 3 miles a day. And now I remember Justin sending me my first 5 mile run, and I went out to the academy before working an extra job, and I did it. And I said, Coach, fuck, I wish I still had that run pulled up conveniently. But I think I averaged 16-minute miles because all the hills, with some of the walking I had to do, averaged 16-minute miles. And I texted him and I said, Coach, I feel like my fucking legs are broken. I feel like my feet are broken. I could not have gone another quarter of a mile if you told me to. And he said, that's good, man. That's good feedback. That's what I needed. Well, now I can tell you that he said, just don't worry, man. Soon 3 miles will be a thing of the past. Soon 5 miles will be a thing of the past. And he keeps saying all this stupid shit, Justin. And now I don't even think 5 miles are even in the past anymore, which it kind of sucks because 5 miles have almost become more of like one of my comfort runs now. And I mean, I know he got me uploaded like 2 days early for next week's regiment. Um, like 2 days early because I finished that one ahead of schedule because I had to. But I mean, my training peaks for this week, I mean, alone is not really what I would expect. I mean, uh, I got 6 miles tomorrow. I got 6 miles Wednesday, another 10 on Friday, and now my main man Justin has snuck in a fourth run for the week. Sneaky
Mm,
Justin gave me a 3 mile recovery run. Which honestly, like, I don't even care. Like 3 miles is like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go run 3 miles now. Where 3 miles used to
yeah.
be like, I would sit at work going, oh, I gotta run 3 miles when I get home, shit like that. Now 3 miles is like, dude, I could be fucking wearing Crocs and go run 3 miles just because I don't have anything else with me. So I started doing that. Started going to the academy to get my Acunix, and started realizing I was losing muscle mass because I was running so much. And that's when I reached out to Tyler and said, "Hey, dude, now I'm losing muscle mass, so I need to figure something else out." And he said, "Ah, well, come get on board, with the team, and I'll be happy to get you dialed in and stuff like that." And I was like, "Man, I just don't want to pay for another thing." But then, he was like, just think, all you have to do is download this app and do what I tell you. And he provides videos and all that stuff. And so I just say, you know what, let's do it. So now we're doing that. And I haven't had an Acunix since I started with him. I'm due for one this week. I was off this past week for the move and stuff like that. And I'm a little little not super receptive to doing Acunex next week because I've trashed my body with eating so much this week. But that's kind of one of the things is that it's you got to lose the mentality that I used to have of if you don't see it, it's not there.
Yes.
Um, and you have to get away from that mindset and you have to get to the hey, open your fucking eyes, it's right in front of you. Face the face the music of what you've caused and go from there. So if I get to the academy this week and I'm 6 pounds heavier, you know i know I know that I can still do the weight that I started with Tyler with. I know that I'm now running more than I've ever ran in my life, and though I'm a little bit heavier, that tells me one thing. I just need to dial more in on my nutrition. And I know the fault is my own, and the fault is, the fact that I'm not even going to blame and say I was moving. I'm going to blame I was not prepared during the move. I could have easily, meal prepped all this shit up before my 5 6 day moving deal, and though I would have had to worry about food going bad and shit like that, what was stopping me from going to Clean Eats and getting some meals that you throw in microwave and I go to Target and get some plastic forks? I mean, looking back on it, you have to see what's worth it in your mind. And I have not prioritized nutrition this past week, and I can tell you that I'm gonna pay. I'm gonna pay for it. I mean, I'm going to pay for it, and I'm paying for it right now. And I mean, but I'm still not discouraged about it, and I'm still not in the mood to fall off about it because, I got my new garage at the new place set up, and it's fucking sweet. I mean, I got my treadmill, my Peloton. I'm sitting on a mat right now. I got some dumbbells, some kettlebells that this guy made me buy. Um, got a sandbag, stuff like that. So only thing I'm missing, man, is try to get a pull up bar put in the wall out here or something like that. Because pull ups have been kind of a new challenge thing that I like because I've been watching too much Truett Haynes.
No doubt. Well, dude, I appreciate you sharing that because I told you before we hopped on, like, I know a lot of guys that were like, excuse me, guys, if you can hear that. If you're in Billings, Montana, they have those like fighter jets flying over. They're doing
Oh wow.
like an air show. So if you hear that, that's what it is. I live right by the airport. Anyways, I appreciate you sharing that story because, like I told you, I know a lot of guys that basically were kind of on the same wavelength as you have been on over the past, call it 3 to 4 years, where it's like, yeah, we're 2 to 3 months on, then ghost. See ya. What happened? Gain
Yep.
20 pounds. Okay, well, now I want to get back on the train. Fucking congratulations. Can you do it for longer than 2 months? Can you do it for a year? No? Okay. Well, finally, you're like, fuck, man. I know where I want to be, but I'm just not there. So you seek some help. And I think that's really cool that, yeah, it costs a little bit of money, but you guys got to understand this. These coaches, myself included, we don't want to coach you forever. I mean, granted, like I'll say it, I'll take your money all damn day long. But my goal is to set you up to give you things to do regarding whatever your goals are, and you implement them and you start hammering home and we work 6 months together. I don't like if you feel the need to resign after 6 months, more than likely you're not doing the alluded work that was put towards you. You should
Or
have it
you have
figured out,
a new
or you
goal in
have a new
mind,
goal.
maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely. But my goal is to give you all these tools, and then you actually take them and turn it into a lifestyle. And then Joel, when you hear a buddy or you see a buddy that's like you're talking to, you're like, that sounds pretty familiar. That was me 3 months ago or 3 years ago. And then you give them what you've learned and you help that person. So I just think that if you guys were Joel 3 or 4 years ago and you're on and then you're off and then you're on and then you're off, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and you're finding yourself making all these fucking excuses because everybody has them and everybody can make them. Find some help, seek some help.
Yeah. Find a
Hit up Joel on
purpose.
IG, hit up me,
Yep.
find a purpose, find out what your why is. A lot of dudes want to work out for themselves, a lot of dudes want to stay in shape for their wives, their kids. I get all that, and that's great. But commit to that. And if you are struggling and you can't stay on the path, work a little bit harder, invest a little bit of money, find somebody that knows the deal and that can get you on the right path. And now, dude, like you're crushing. You're so committed to this running, and I'm watching you every day, and you're like, hey, check out this run. And not to keep talking here, but I'm just trying to drive this point home is that Joel, I mean, he's not a runner and he's signing up for a marathon he's signed up and we're going to run it together at the end
I
of
actually have a
October.
couple goals with
And
that have kind of if I can interrupt for half a second, it's crazy. I decided I want to do this
go
marathon.
ahead.
My goal after that, which you can relate to, because I know you did this in I think 2020, but I think my yearly goals for right now. I did just see something on Facebook that looks fucking awful. It was this Memphis Death by 5K, and it looks absolutely fucking miserable. I will not be participating in this, but um, it was a 5K every. I think it's every. I don't remember, like every hour or some crazy shit for 24 hours. I don't even know. But with that, I think my goals for this are I'm going to run this marathon with Tyler here in Nashville. My goal is sub 5. Which isn't anything crazy, but I think my goal in general should be just don't get a DNF. But I've kind of got a goal of wanting to run sub 5. We'll see what happens with that. I know I'm going to finish it, but I don't know what the time will be. With that, I think somewhere around November, I probably want to do the David Goggins 4x4x48, which you did a couple years ago. What's it come out to? 48 miles total.
48 miles. Yep.
Yeah. So 48 miles in 2 days. That's fucking almost. That's damn close to a marathon a day. That's anyways, with that, and then I think next year I want to take my shot at mid-state, and the goal for mid-state I just want it to be my first ultra. So, with that being said, anything over 26.2, but as Tyler will tell you, even the actual ultra runners don't really start counting until you hit 30. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
27 miles is not an ultra for those wondering. It's a 50K.
yeah.
You're welcome.
So I would like to. I think my goal at mid state. If I'm able to do it next year, depending on whatever I have going on or whatever excuses I try to make for myself until I get held accountable by a higher force, is going to be to probably just get 30 laps at mid state.
Yeah, that's a
I've got a
great goal,
buddy that
bro.
I'm pressuring into that right now, so we'll see if he bites. But that's kind of what I got going on right now, and I'll also say that with hiring these people, not to try to be a salesman because that's not what I do. I'm actually pretty bad at it. But with that being said, not to be a salesman, but I'll start with Justin just because I hired him first prior to Tyler. But dude, Justin is just and you can vouch for him. I mean, you've been trained by him and everything else, but he is such a down to earth guy. He's prior law enforcement, so he knows the struggles of the everyday shit. He made a bad decision, got a DUI, resigned, got arrested, stuff like that, and he's the most honest, open, loving, free spirit guy. And I mean, this dude will text me and you know, I might be like, hey, this is cool, blah, blah, blah. And he'll be like, oh, dude, what an awesome run you've did this week or something. And it's not just, you pay for somebody and they say, hey, run 2 miles today. Hey, run 5 miles today. These people are, you're almost essentially getting a support system out of it too, because Tyler, Justin, all those people, I can say, hey, dude, here's what I did this week, or here's what I'm struggling with, or something like that. And a lot of my friends are using Couch to 5K apps, or Garmin Trainer, or whatever it's called. We all have Garmin's and stuff like that, but they're using Garmin Trainer to get a marathon program together and stuff like that. And the thing about that is these programs say, hey, you're running 6 miles today, you're running 9 miles the next day, you're running 12 miles the next day, and then you're going to run it on this day. If you don't run it on this day, you're going to be shot with a laser beam through your head and not survive it. And then, this, and this, where it's like Justin said, I texted Justin, told him everything I had going on, not even making excuses, just trying to be transparent because he puts his time into me. I can put time into him. Same with Tyler, but with that, I was trying to give Justin a heads up of everything I had going on. Just God forbid I miss a run. I don't want him to be like, this one of my athletes is fucking slacking, stuff like that. So with that, I try to let him know what's going on, and he's like, dude, if you can't get it in this week, we will adjust your next week to make it happen. But I mean, this marathon that we're doing, dude, I don't know if you realize it, but it's fucking 11 weeks away. Like, it's coming up. And 11 weeks doesn't seem like a crazy time, but it ain't a week. A week goes by, man. So
Hmm.
with that, that's kind of where we're at right now with that. And these people have been a great support system of, getting excited for me, dude. I mean, I can't imagine where Justin's at with a 10-mile run, man. Even, people like Justin and stuff like that. You think of a 10-mile run, and they're like, I'm not even going to take a bottle of water with me for that. Whereas then I'm like, dude, I fucking got a fucking running pack on, or got a hand water bottle or something, and all this shit. So I've got a lot of stuff to learn out in this new area I'm at, but I am excited to get running, and I'm very excited to get some more road running in rather than treadmill running, because I'm finally in a neighborhood that's going to be safe to do it, where I can actually get some, I don't want to say elevation training in, but it definitely ain't flat.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, man. Everybody's on their own path. 10 miles for you is a fucking big deal. And that's totally all right. Because you can't just start with, 3 mile runs, 5 mile runs, and then next week we're gonna go run a fucking marathon. Good luck to you. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
gonna be hard enough, and you have a 4 month block. Like, trust me, we're gonna go out and we're gonna run this freaking marathon in October, and it's gonna suck. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna
It's gonna be
we're gonna
challenging.
laugh. We're gonna laugh, but like, wait till you get to mile 16, and you're like, "Fuck me, I still have 10 more miles to go." But
Right.
that's okay. And another point that I want to try to drive home, that something that Joel's been doing, um, which I think is tremendous, is that he is on like a 3 to 4 runs per week. So on his off days, for a couple weeks you're just like going through the motions, and you're like, man, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I should be doing more work. And you're like, man, I feel like I'm losing some muscle mass. And you're not as familiar in the gym as me or somebody else. Like, it just is what it is. So then you seek more help, and you want to put in extra work, because the strength training and leg workouts, all that shit is going to benefit your running in the long term. So even though
100%.
you're off, even though it's an off day, we're still getting like a little bit of 30-minute sweat equity in. That's where I come into play. And it's been great, man. So now you're essentially working out, 5, 6 days out of the
Six
week
six days
opposed to
a week.
3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and and you hit it right on the head, Joel. I mean, I know you
And I
listen to
don't
the
have to
show,
plan
but
any of it.
right, and that's the thing. You hit it right on the head. Is It's like, you invest, you pull up the app, whatever the trainer uses, and you just fucking do the work. You just have to do the
Yep.
work. That's it. All you have to
That's it.
do is what is on your phone. And that's
Yep.
it. It
And for
uploads to
me,
the fucking app, and then that next day you're like, all right, now what?
yep. And that's how it was for me. Is I decided that on these run days that I was burning, I don't know, starting out at 400 to 500 calories. And I mean, I think my 10-mile run last week was, or this week, I guess it's still in this week, but my 10-mile week was like 1,200 calories. So I, though I'm not one of those people that gets obsessive about counting calories, because I'm more of like doing macros and stuff like that. It's cool just knowing that, to lose weight or gain muscle or whatever, you're in your deficiencies of certain calories and stuff like that. And if I do want to eat a handful of those animal crackers that Nora hands me when I get home from work, it's really not a big fucking deal, because if I'm going to run 10 miles, like, whoa, 100 calories. So stuff
You
like
get
that, that's when I
you
reached
gotta
out to
earn it.
Tyler too. Was, it's just, I'm if I'm burning 1,200 calories on one day, the next day, if I'm not doing anything, though I've burned enough calories, for a couple days, realistically, it seems like such a waste of a day.
Hmm.
So that's why
Yeah.
I just, I was eager to, get in some more training and stuff like that, just to make sure that I am staying moving. I'm sure I've burned a shit ton of calories moving. I mean, I've been carrying shit all around, stuff like that. Um, but earlier this year I did buy a bike, like a road bike, so that's been cool. I did a triathlon sprint the same day you ran mid-state. I don't remember when that was, June maybe, but that was pretty cool.
Yep.
I really didn't train for that like I should have. Actually, I didn't train at all.
Yeah,
And
don't lie. You didn't
I
train no
did complete it,
fucking
but
worth a lick.
yeah, I didn't train at all, and my run was like 43 minutes for 3 miles, which was terrible. But I will say I smoked the swim. The 400-meter swim I did in like 11 or 12 minutes, which isn't as good as a swimmer would do. But for someone who has never, I don't think ever in my life swam 400 meters without taking a break, um, you know, what are you gonna do? Stop swimming and say I'm tired? Just fucking die? So I just flipped to my back and did some backstroke, flipped back over, did some breaststroke, flipped back over, did freestyle, whatever I had to do to just get through it and know that I'm not going to be found on the bottom of Old Hickory Lake. So um, I did that, and then the bike was tough, but my for certain rule for myself was I wasn't going to be last. So I wasn't, and I don't really remember how I did, but I remember pushing the hell out of myself, burning my quads up trying to get through the bike ride, and then at the end the run was. Dude, there was hardly any elevation to it. There was like one decent sized hill, and I was just like, oh, whatever. At least if I stop, like I'm not gonna drown. Um, so we did get the run in, and dude, life is good. It is. It's cool. It's cool getting to this point. It helps with your mental health clarity. It helps with being motivated to eat better. It helps with family stuff like that. And I'm still kind of fat, but it's like when you go out in public and you see people just like dude, it kind of pisses me off because like, I ate Sonic the other night, which wasn't good for macros and shit like that. But when you go like downtown and work like Broadway or something, and you see people just like tying one on like every single night and like just getting so drunk that they like can't figure out how to button their shirt back up, or like you just see all this sloppy shit, dude. You're just like, dude, these people are literally just drinking poison every night and just like they don't give a fuck. And then like on top of that, you see them walking around with ice cream cones stacked this high. And then they're like, dude,
Hmm.
even people I work with on Broadway, dude, they'll stack ice cream cones this high, and then they'll be like, all right, now let's go get an iced coffee. And the iced coffee is fucking this big, and it's like a Dutch Bros or some shit that's got like 1,600 calories in it, but it doesn't count because it's a liquid. And then after that, they go to
Right.
dinner and get chicken tenders and some fries, and you're just like, bro, you just honestly just don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, I'm eating
Yep.
cold rice and cold ground turkey, and I'd rather fall on a sword than eat this every day. But at least like once I get it down the hatch, like, and I'm not hungry anymore, I'm not even gonna be thinking about food. So it's
Yeah. I think it
gross.
pisses you
People in
off
America are
because
gross.
I think it upsets you because probably the same reason it upsets me is because I fear being that guy. You know what I mean? And you used to be that guy at certain points in your life, right? So like
Right.
it pisses you off being like, man, get your shit together. Like you can do this. Like you don't have to eat that ice cream cone or you don't need to go. I mean, dude, it's Wednesday night. Why are you on Broadway drinking? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Right. So like, don't get me wrong. I like to go down to Broadway and fucking get after it as much as the next guy, but bet your sweet ass it's going to be on a Friday or Saturday. At least get your
Yeah.
days situated, right?
And you bet
I
it's gonna
trained
come
all week, so I'm gonna go have
with a
some.
run after it.
Yeah, we'll be hung over the next
Yeah,
day or
it's
whatever. But no, dude, I appreciate you sharing your story. I know that there's a lot of people that have been in your shoes or are currently in your shoes. The old pair that you used to wear, not right now because you're on the path.
yeah.
And it's a story. It's a story that I think needs to be told. And guys, I'm telling you, like y'all don't know Joel. A couple of you do. I know Joel, and this motherfucker will try to get out of anything. And finally he put his foot, anything difficult I should say, right? Especially if it's like you either have a choice, you're either going to go run when it's 95 or you're not. If you have a long day, I know Joel, he'll be like, nope, I'm good, we'll get it tomorrow, and then something will come up. Finally you put your foot down, you invested a little bit of your time and a little bit of your money, and then you set a goal. So it's not just to try to get in shape. You set a goal where it's like, okay, we're doing this training block for October 28th and we're going to run this marathon. And then when you get done with that, you're going to be like, wow, that really sucked. And you're going to be sore for 3 days. And then on that Wednesday, you're going to be like, all right, now what? So it just comes. You guys have to do this process. Really, if you do it right one time, commit to something, set a goal, and you're going to find out that the actual process of going through the training, the actual
It's
training
really not that hard.
itself was it's really not that hard, and
Nah,
it's way more beneficial than the actual end goal. So yeah,
right.
you're gonna get a cool little medal. You know, I got a bunch of them, but they just sit down here. They don't do anything. You're not really gonna remember that run. You guys
Yeah,
aren't gonna remember that bike ride. You're gonna remember the days and the weeks and the months getting up early and those training runs. You're going to remember that more than the actual feat of doing a marathon itself. And then you're going to domino that into months down the road and then years down the road, and next thing you know, like,
100%.
it's part of your life. So very
And
proud of you for
next
doing
thing
that,
you
man.
know, yeah. What? One more thing I got to squeeze in.
But
Next thing you know, you'll be looking at
yeah,
Justin
yeah.
Hamilton's Instagram story, looking at his Dreadmill 100 buckle, and you'll be sitting here thinking, that sounds really fucking miserable. If I average 48 hours, which is the time cut off, 100 miles on a treadmill, which sounds terrible, how much sleep will I be able to get? I think you have to average like 2.1 miles per hour. Um, so you could literally run 2 miles in 25 minutes ish, and that's kind of slow pacing and chilling a little bit, and then maybe getting a small nap in, a little food, maybe mix a shower in even if you wanted. But then you could get the Dreadmill 100 buckle, which is pretty fucking cool because it's a 100-mile race on a treadmill, and that
The
sounds
hell with that, because I
terrible,
know Justin's done a lot
terrible.
of shitty shit, and I'm pretty sure that he says that's the hardest event he's ever done. So like, I'll take his word for that, and I'll just like stay on the trail. Don't
Amen.
you think? Yeah.
Amen.
Um, if you guys aren't familiar with Justin, I've talked about him on here a little bit. His name's Justin Hamilton, Ultra Dad. Shout out, my guy. I've had him on the podcast. I don't remember what number it is, but go back in the archives. And then an even better podcast than mine and Justin's, and I won't lie, credit where credit's due here. He was on Chad Wright's 3 of 7 podcast. It's like a 3 hour like life testimony. It was amazing. You can hear his whole story. And if you're the guy who thinks that they need training to for a race or something, hit Justin up, because he's pretty much that guy. So, Joel, I know you're not big on social media. Where can people find you though? I know you're on IG.
Yeah, I'm on the IG. It's at Joel Exotic. Shout out to Tiger King. But
Absolutely.
the O is 0, and that's pretty much the only platform I religiously use. But
Cool. Well, I'll put that in the notes. How'd you like first podcast, right? How'd you like it?
yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't
Easy.
have a hard time running my fucking mouth, so podcasting's pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy. I've done 99 now, so congratulations. 99 is a big deal, man. I can't
Yeah,
thank you enough for
99's
coming
cool.
on. I
99's
appreciate you
cool.
coming on. 99 is a good number to
Absolutely. I
be.
appreciate you having me.
Yeah, a long time coming, man. So I'm glad we got to do this. Do you have any other last second thoughts before I get you out of here?
No, I don't think so, man. Got to go try to find a washer and dryer now. Not a lot of good stuff left on the plate. Back to work tomorrow, unfortunately. Not that I don't like my job, but when you move somewhere you really like, it's hard to get back in the swing of things. But I do have a week-long vacation, staycation coming up that I'll get a lot done, and I'm sure Justin will have something stupid for me, like a 12-mile or 14-mile run or something dumb. So,
More than likely. Listen, stay on, a little small talk, and I'll get you out. I appreciate you, man.
all right, bro.
That's a podcast, Joel.